Yes, there have been some people that have been down on the Mountaineers this offseason, but it's not all bad. There are people who actually believe in West Virginia. The Cover 3 podcast says that Mike Hawkins Jr. is going to lead West Virginia to a really nice season. I've got a lot of proof that might prove that to be true. Let's talk about Mike Hawkins, and we'll talk about what they said too. Let's go.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host here. Welcome back into Locked On West Virginia. Thank you guys so much for being here today on a Sunday. As the women who just got a really cool announcement, the 4 seed, they'll be playing the Miami Redhawks. That's something cool. Congratulations to them. Well-deserved, the 4 seed. And they'll be getting that bye like we were told they would get. So excellent job for the ladies. Thanks for making us your first listen here today and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We're talking about your team and the Mountaineers every single day. Going to be brought to you by our friends at FanDuel today. And usually we say $5 is going to make you come holla. But on this one, we're talking about FanDuel giving you a turn to turn that energy to even bigger potential wins with the college basketball parlay profit boost. Head to FanDuel.com to get started and do it today. All right, guys, I am not alone. I am here with the unflappable, the unstoppable, the impossible, Jackson Johnson, to talk a little West Virginia football.
Oh, man, how you doing tonight? Good, buddy.
Doing good, man. Appreciate you for coming on. I didn't give you a lot of notice as usual. That's my thing, right? I'm like, hey, I'm going live in 5 minutes. I need 3 words from you.
Oh, yeah. Yes, definitely. Absolutely. Like they sound, Gravity Falls. So there you go.
Yeah, right. So, Jackson, obviously, West Virginia has an interesting season coming up. It's Rich Rod's second year. You've likened West Virginia to potentially this year's Houston at times, and you looked at how their situation was very similar to West Virginia's, even in year 2, where they brought in quite a few players, including an elite running back, very similar to what West Virginia is doing right now. And then you look at what Coach Fritz is doing over there, and you've said multiple times West Virginia could have a similar season to Houston.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like last season we saw where Willie Fritz had a major turnaround for Houston in the second year, and it was really no surprise. And we saw how they did their ball game against LSU, which I know it wasn't a big deal for LSU, but it was a massive, huge deal for the Houston Cougars.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely it was.
And, it's like, and even though I believe that Utah, Texas Tech are like the only sure losses for West Virginia, but that's my opinion. So, I mean, like, that's just what I think. But I do believe, like, West Virginia can really turn things around. As we've stated a million times here on Locked On West Virginia, Paul, Coach Trickett being the new offensive line coach, that's a huge win for the West Virginia staff. That's going to be one. And what it means is we're going to be seeing Cam Cook just lead the nation in rushing yards again. And that's a good sign for the West Virginia Mountaineers in the future on where they're heading for the rest of the 2020s decade. And what we'll do is we'll learn a lot more about them in week 3 against the Virginia Cavaliers.
It'll be a great barometer test. Absolutely. So you're predicting right here on Locked On West Virginia, Cam Cook lead the nation in rushing for a second year in a row?
Yeah, I believe so.
Interesting. I do think it's very possible. He's a very steady force back there. I've said multiple times. He's able to tote the rock multiple times in a row. But he's got to have somebody to throw it to him. He caught the ball. Another underrated thing among a million underrated things about Cam Cook is he had 30 catches last year. That's like a third leading receiver, right? So he had 30 catches for 300 yards last year for Jack State. He's a good receiver too. Who's going to throw him the football? Is it going to be Scotty Fox Jr.? Well, according to CBS's Cover 3 podcast, they feel a little differently. And On their latest episode of Cover 3 Jackson, they discussed West Virginia as a potential bounce back team for 2026, predicting West Virginia could jump.
Oh, it's like they watched Locked On West Virginia too.
It's almost like they watched Locked On West Virginia. Yeah, absolutely. They said West Virginia can jump from 4-8 to as high as 8-4 in year 2 under Rich Rodriguez, and they pointed to a few major factors here, Jackson. It's year 2 in the Rich Rod system. There are players returning in this system, believe it or not. It's not all brand new players, and they're at really key positions. They believe the arrival of Michael Hawkins Jr. from Oklahoma coming in is the kind of quarterback that Rich Rodriguez has really succeeded with in the past, an extremely mobile quarterback with elite, and we're talking about elite speed at 4.3, and then obviously a schedule that can allow for West Virginia to stack those early wins. And you've talked about it. Virginia will give you the barometer, but I mean, you look at West Virginia's first 7 or 8 games, they don't even go on the road until Iowa State, which is in like week whatever it is, 6 or
Week
7. 5, yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy when you think about it. So the national media kind of only scratched the surface here, in my opinion, which is kind of what they do. They can't dive deep into every team. That's what we do here. And so on today's episode, what I thought we would do, Jackson, is we'll break down what CBS got right, what they missed, and what Mountaineer fans should pay close attention to in the quarterback battle between Hawkins and Scotty Fox Jr., and dive deep into, the scouting breakdown of Hawkins and what they felt about him at Oklahoma. Because I've got a bunch of clips that I was sent by somebody in the program, I'll just say, about Hawkins Jr. and how he might be the perfect quarterback for Rich Rod's offense. So is West Virginia about to shock the Big 12? Well, let's talk about it, because at the end of the day, guys, Bud Elliott, Danny Cannell, Chip Patterson, and Tom Fornelli all feel like West Virginia can get into that 8-4 type situation. And they believe it'll be with Mike Hawkins Jr., a dual threat quarterback, perfect fit for Rich Rod's offense, and a Big 12 opportunity. If he does it, Jackson, he will have beaten a really game and good Scotty Fox Jr. for the job.
Oh, yeah.
Because you've said multiple times not to throw Scotty Fox out with the bathwater.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like either Scotty Fox or Michael Hawkins Jr. for 2026. I'm willing to listen on either quarterback, because like Scotty Fox, he's got another year under his belt heading into 2026, and Hawkins is in a system that works perfectly for him in Morgantown.
So, okay, let me play devil's advocate, because I have leaned at times Scotty Fox Jr. on this show. I said that, right? Early on. Then I spoke to some people that knew Mike Hawkins Jr.
Ooh.
And including their play-by-play guy, right? That literally does play-by-play for Oklahoma every week. And he told me some things, and I've got some clips about Mike Hawkins Jr. from his show. This would be the equivalent of Tony Caridi going and saying, look, I was out there at practice today, and I'm telling you, Scotty Fox was making or Max, and that'd be more like Max, and them saying Max or even one of the freshmen was making Scotty and Mike Hawkins look bad. Like he that's what they're essentially saying here. We'll roll set 2.
Defensive line standpoint that are going to be pivotal in us taking that next jump. And then, you jump over to the quarterback. Mountaineer is a dude. But you can talk about Mountaineer, but too is you got a young Mike Hawkins. And I'm going to go on record and saying this, he will win a Heisman. He's that dang good. I know what it looks like. And now, and I know he has the it factor. You got Mountaineer. So you got 2 guys in this system playing in the SEC. You need to. And I like both of those. And you add in the weapon.
That's Oklahoma Sooners Hall of Famer and one of the best linebackers in the last 20 years in NFL. Over the last, and that's Curtis Lofton. Like, that guy knows what it looks like. He had that to say about Mike Hawkins Jr. But what about the two Oklahoma legends? What they have to say?
Out of practice, Hawkins had more wow moments than Mountaineer. Now, he was going against the twos. It's very important to acknowledge that. But as far as throws that made me go, whoa, dude, what? Whoa. Hawkins had more of those than Mountaineer. I've talked to multiple guys on the staff. Every time we talked about the offense, they would bring up how good Hawkins was looking and how talented he was. Multiple times people mention, hey, man, he may be the most talented guy we have in the quarterback room. Remember, John Mateer's in the quarterback room.
Yep.
So I'm not trying to be a sunshine pumper or anything like that. I'm just telling you, this staff believes in this guy. Yep. They do. And now he's got to go out there and he's got to play at a high level. And that's what I expect from him.
Baker Mayfield, anybody?
This was actually my first time truly meeting him, but from the people that I've talked to, he's strong in his faith. Adam Starling, who married my wife and I, said he's an unbelievable guy. So you can always root for guys like that from afar. You don't have to meet him, but you can tell what type of character he has, the work ethic, and so it's fun to be around him today. Baker, what's your relationship with Mike?
That's a lot of evidence for Mike Hawkins Jr., Jackson.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially when you're hearing from one of the guys saying he's had a lot of wow moments. That is definitely a good case to make if you want Michael Hawkins to be your starter for 2026 for the Mountaineers.
You watched a lot of John Mateer last year, did you not? As somebody that's an SEC guy and you watch Alabama football. How good is John Mateer?
Yeah.
How good is John Mateer to baseline? What's your opinion?
I would say he's like he's like a 7 for me. Like out of 10.
So for a guy like Hawkins to go into Oklahoma and wow everybody like he did would be pretty impressive, especially as young as he is, right?
Yeah.
I just think that there's a lot of meat on the bone there to kind of dig into, because as you start to project out, okay, what would the offense look like under Hawkins? What would it look like under Scotty? They're both going to play, from what I understand, most likely early. But I've said this a couple times. I'm guilty of saying it. For Rich Rodriguez's offense to operate at its highest possible, whatever the Pat White era, that's what you would have to say is, okay, what's the gold standard for how this offense can look week in, week out? That's it, right? We're putting up 200 yards. Good luck stopping us every week. Don't matter if you're Georgia. Don't matter if you're Oklahoma. Don't matter if you're anybody else. We're going to put 200 up on you, and then we'll figure the rest out later. And we had an elite running quarterback at the time that could also throw it. And we weren't talking about him running in these videos. They were talking about him throwing in these videos.
Mm-hmm.
All three of these guys were All-Americans for Oklahoma. You know what I mean? It's not like they just are. I mean, I'm a commentator, right? But I wasn't an All-American for West Virginia. You know, like I'm just saying, I am not stupid enough to try to say that my opinion is more valid than theirs is. And I listen to people when they talk. And he was just as competent off camera as on camera about Mike Hawkins Jr. when I spoke to Teddy Lehman. And he's already transferred. He has no reason to bet on him anymore.
No.
I just think that the more I think about it, I don't know who's going to win this job, but I feel really good about the quarterback spot. And Mike Hawkins Jr. is a guy that if he figures it all the way out, I don't know. Am I taking it too far to say that he could be, in the conversation for like an offensive player of the year in the Big 12 or something like that? Because when you look at Rich Rod's quarterbacks, they all rush for 1,000 yards. You look at the last couple, they rushed for 1,200 yards, 1,300 yards. I mean, that's a lot of rushing yards for a quarterback, albeit at a lower level. I mean, this kid, and when you look at his highlights too, like let's check out a couple highlights from Mike Hawkins really quick. Obviously, just, a lot of these are running with the football, but I mean, there he is against just absolutely spanking the ass of Auburn. I know that makes you happy, doesn't
Oh,
it, Jackson? Just abusing Auburn in a game, abusing Tennessee right here. I mean, the abuse Tennessee suffered at the hands of Mike Hawkins Jr. is pretty legendary. But I mean, honestly, he really looked good in the little bit of time that he got. And there's just an extra wow factor to him when you talk about, okay, what's this guy do well? What does he need to work on and all that? And there's not enough film out there for a guy like me to say, but I can tell you what he does well. That right there, if he can plant his feet, he can throw it as well as Scotty. And he's got the edge in the running game. So the thing that Scotty has the edge on is continuity within the offense and year 2 in the offense. So it's basically like if everything was even, you would probably have to lean Hawkins, but that's really hard for me to say that. It really is, because I really have so much respect for Scotty as a thrower. But it's just the running ability of Hawkins. And as I've said multiple times, if you want this offense to operate at its highest form, you've got to have an elite running quarterback. And Scotty is a good running quarterback, not elite, Jackson. So I guess the question is do you feel like he can hold off Hawkins in year 1, or what does your gut say? You're around me a lot. What do you think?
Honestly, it could be anyone's guess. I believe we could, it's like we keep seeing what Hawkins brings. Like if he's bringing plays like this in the spring game and in fall camp, that I could see him becoming the new starter for 2026, honestly. And, possibly bringing that Pat White, Steve Slate magic in like 2026, where it's like him and Cam Cook.
It'd be so great, wouldn't it? Like if you're sitting at home right now, I know you're smiling with me. To that possibility, we just deserve it. I don't care. Like I'm not an entitled fan. We deserve this. If there's one thing we deserve, and we missed the tournament again this year. Last year we had an all-time snub. We know that. Football has been on the fritz for 5, 6, 7 years now. Can we just have something? Even if we're just going to be 8-4 next year, which would be great. I think we'd all be pretty happy. People would still find reasons to be mad. I guarantee if we go 8-4 next year, there'll be people that are pissed about it. But can we have an exciting offense and go 8-4? Because that gives you a lot of things to build on, especially in recruiting. Like Rich Rod was to the point when he left Morgantown last time, he could walk into Terrell Pryor's bedroom and say, "Hey, kid, I want you to play for me at West Virginia." And it was very close to happening. Can you imagine Terrell Pryor at West Virginia running this offense? It would have been insane. Man. That was going to be after Pat White. We would have won national championships. I know we would have, but it didn't happen, and that's our luck. So I guess I'll just say this. They cited the schedule. They cited a bunch of different reasons. I believe 8-4 is 100% possible for us. I wouldn't go further right now until I see us play Virginia. But we're going to need some players to help Cam and obviously Hawkins or Scotty out along the way. And so what I figured we could do after the break, Jackson, is let's just rank them. Let's just flat out rank the best portal guys we brought in last year. I know you did. How many did you do?
Well, I've got my top 10 for the portal. So it's like, and I think like a lot of these guys, just make sure don't let it go to your head. Like don't act like you're the bull goose yet. But until you are, list the one who is a bull goose.
That's right. So
that's what I heard from a Gunsmoke episode once. He's like, you ain't the bull goose yet, sonny boy, but until you are, you'll list the one who is.
I'm assuming the bull goose is like the alpha goose or something.
Okay. No, it was like an outlaw on a Gunsmoke episode, season 19.
Oh, okay, gotcha. It's out of my. Okay, got it.
Another quote for you, Paul.
We're going to go to break on that note. You can refine your list a little more, and I'll read these off, and we'll be right back. Let's rank some of these portal guys out. Who is it that's going to help Scotty the most? We'll go from 1 or from 20 to 0 or whatever yours is. Mine's 30. I think I got 35 ranked, but we won't have to do them all. We'll talk about it next. Guys, I got to talk to you about a friend. You got a friend in me. At FanDuel. Yeah, I'm not lying about it. FanDuel's got something pretty cool going on right now. And college basketball being nonstop with the big games, the tight spreads, the momentum swings every single night. You got the early tip-offs, late night West Coast shootouts. There's always action on the board. And let's just be honest, man. FanDuel is kind of giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with the college basketball parlay profit boost. You can build any college basketball hoops you want with the parlay, with rivalry games, ranked matchups, whatever fits your read. You can mix spreads, totals, and player props to match what you see and how you see the slate playing out. Then you can get that profit boost and apply it instantly. You can bump up the potential payout. Go safe, go bold, ride home with the team you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style. Now put some more behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com today with FanDuel, where you can play your game. And, of course, our friends at Indeed say hello. And right now with Indeed, y'all, we're going to be talking about something that you need to hear. Workplace chaos happening. You got deadlines stacking up. Inboxes are overflowing. I get it. The one position you have to fill is still sitting open, isn't it? Well, if the pressure's on and you need that right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. Here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed Data Worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing those candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. That way you'll have less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Sponsored Jobs. Listeners to this show is going to get $75 job credit, sponsored job credit, to help you get the premium status your job deserves in Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast today and support the show Locked On West Virginia by saying you heard about it on Locked On West Virginia. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Say you heard it from Locked On West Virginia, where the terms and conditions apply. Do you need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Guys, last but not least, we've got something pretty cool going on right now with, as you guys know, as we bring Jackson back into the fray here, we've got the Locked On Everydayer Club going on right now. And if you follow us every day here, I record twice a day, 7 days a week as it is right now. We haven't missed a day in a long, long time. I think we've missed a total of maybe 5 days over the last close to 2 years. So it's definitely 7 days a week here. So there's a lot of content on the channel. Yes, we do cover the same topics every now and again, but I try to space them out enough. And I usually try to change them to different variants. You know, there's a lot of mixing and matching, but if you're a fanatic, you know, this is the channel where you can't be more fanatical. And I want this to be somewhere you can come every day and know that there's West Virginia content that you can just talk about, flesh out, you know. And if you can't follow it every day, you know it's coming back around the pike for you sometime. Well, there's an extra gear to that, and that is the Locked On West Virginia Everydayer Club. Go to lockedonwestvirginia.supercast.com, promo code March, and you've only got a couple days left to do this. That's lockedonwestvirginia.supercast, promo code March, supercast.com, promo code March. lockedonwestvirginia.supercast.com, promo code March, and you'll get a free month of the Everydayer Club. Make sure you go sign up for that now as soon as you get done with this. All right, Jackson Johnson, I've asked you to do a job for me, and you said you would do that job. I want to hear your top portal acquisitions for West Virginia. I gave you no notes, so I'm getting very interested to see what you came up with.
So number 10, we watched this guy from Western Kentucky, and he's an edge rusher from Western Kentucky. I mean,
Yep.
you want to talk about a bull goose? There's a bull goose right there in Harper Holloman, and he's just smacking down QBs all over the place in the Conference USA. And he's a hell of an addition for the West Virginia defense for the 2026 team right there. I mean, he was highly productive, and he was just disrupting everyone in the backfield. And honestly, I've kind of filled my top 10 with interior offensive linemen. Like, I've kind of just filled it up. Yeah, but let's go over number 9 and number 8 as the wide receivers addition for West Virginia, because like regardless of who's going to be the QB, they're going to be really happy with Prince Strachan at USC, 6'5". And I can tell you right now, you want to talk about a nightmare for the red zone. Ooh, man.
He's a monster.
Extreme nightmare.
I got a picture of him too that's going to blow your mind when you look at this kid. Would you want to mess with him, Jackson?
No.
What would he do to you?
Man, he'll chew me out like a chicken nugget if I'm a CB.
Oh, God. What you got next, brother?
Well, I mean, I've got Taryn Francis as from
That's a great
LSU.
ad.
Oh, man, like he's going to be a deep threat right there. I mean, you want to talk about a deep threat? That's a deep threat right there, man. Like Francis, like my God. He's going to be another, guy that turns around things for the West Virginia offense. But, number 7 and number 6, I've got interior offensive linemen for this one. Because number 7 is Cam Griffin from Jacksonville State, as he's got top-notch starter experience, a massive body with 305 pounds, and he played a part in Jacksonville State having the 5th best rushing offense in all of college football for the 2025 team. Like, that's pretty good right there. You don't want to mess with a guy like that. And then you got Wes King from Wyoming. Like, I mean, he's another experienced physical guard. He's, got 310 plus pounds of grit on the interior. I mean, that guy can really get it rolling against defensive linemen right there. And, number 5, I've got Kamari Wilson, the safety from Memphis, where he was just an All-American last season, just brought out all kinds of magic for the Memphis Tigers.
He was good.
Oh, man, extremely good. Like, oh, my God. Like, he was just amazing. Extremely amazing.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I think he's a good player.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's got a lot of grit to his game too, Jackson.
Oh, true, man. That's true. And I've got number 4, Amari Grayson, another interior offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
like high-graded PFF blocker at 82. Like, he was terrific right there.
Yeah.
He was just terrific. And let's see who I have at number 3. Oh, here we go. John Nieder at UConn.
That's an interesting pick.
Yep. I mean, because it's like, when you think of UConn, you're thinking of the men's basketball team and the women's basketball team, right?
Yeah.
You're thinking of men's and women's where they just dominate everybody in all of men's and women's college basketball. But they're really good in college football, and they're doing very well right now under Jim Moore Jr. And looking at his stats, he only had 1 drop on 27 catches last season, and he was a reliable chain mover in the slot. And honestly, I was thinking about, because I was going to get one of the UConn guys in the top 10 anyhow, right there. And, number 2 for me, we've been talking about it today, Michael Hawkins Jr. I mean, he's not going to be coached by a guy named Joe John anymore. He's nothing against old Joe John family.
Oh, that's so funny when you do that.
But he's going to be bringing all kinds of magic if he's the starter for West Virginia. And if he is, he could definitely be the Pat White to the Steve Slayton to this number 1 guy, Cam Cook from Jacksonville State. This young man led the nation in rushing yards for the season last year, for the 2025 season. I mean, you want to talk about a top-notch running back. Cam Cook is going to be your top-notch addition for the West Virginia roster right there. I know like Cam Vaughn is a huge loss, like losing him to Miami, that's a huge loss. But I say Cam Vaughn lost, not West Virginia, because West Virginia got Cam Cook. Yeah, Cam Cook is going to be a humongous winner for the West Virginia Mountaineers. And, all these linemen that I named on this list, I mean, they're going to play a huge part in this turnaround for the 2026 West Virginia Mountaineers. And when you got Coach Trickett as your offensive line coach in a second stint, coaching with Rich Rod, that's going to be awesome right there. And Raven, I truly believe the Mountaineers can stay healthy for the 2026 season. I really and truly do.
Love that list, Jackson. I really do.
Oh, thank you, man.
It's crazy, really. I mean, especially when you think about how many guys West Virginia brought in. There's a lot of different guys to think about.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really hard for me to narrow down, a top list like this. But I'll try. So, starting all the way at the end, I guess, if you wanted to go there, I'm going to go with, and this is no disrespect at all, but I just think impact on the game wise, Peter Notaro is at 35 only because he's a kicker. I do think there's a world where he impacts the game a lot more than he does. But it's just, as a kicker, I don't expect him to be right there like that necessarily. Number 34 is Brian Hansen. By the way, I think he can be a big weapon for us this year, but I'm going to assume we're not going to be punting a whole lot this year. And I mean that. I'm hearing from a lot of people about how good our offense looks so far. So we'll find out whether that means our defense sucks or maybe both, but, we'll see. But so for now, I'm just going to, because by default, you're going to put them down there just because they don't play as much. Here's where it gets difficult for me already, because there's a bunch of guys that I could say go here, go there, but I'm going to go ahead and go with Jack Cassidy as well at 33. I almost had him up way higher, and then I thought about it. Jack Cassidy, if you don't know his story, he's got 70-yard bombs on his record. He's a 6'6", 230-pound solid muscle kicker. I've never seen anything like it. But if you go look at Cassidy, just go look him up. I mean, he's an incredible athlete. Probably could have played D2 ball, but yeah, he's obviously he can smoke the ball with his foot. So it'll be really interesting to see what he ends up doing for us. All right, so we are down to 35, 34, 33. We're down to 32, and this is where it gets tough for me. Because there's a lot of guys on this roster that I really like. But I mean, if you're making me rank guys, I'm going to have to go with, until proven otherwise, I'm going to go with Will LeBlanc down there. And I don't want to, because I think he's 6'5", he's 295, he's athletic as hell. I could see him making a difference, but he's a D2 guy, and I need to see it before I can rank him up any higher. Cam Ball at 31, because he's a blocking tight end only. He's going to make a big impact. I think he'll play a lot of snaps, but do I think that he's going to make the impact that is going to be that a receiving tight end would? No. And I don't know if he's probably your third tight end, right? He's going to play a lot because he blocks, but he's not going to necessarily be in the offense catching balls a lot. I hope I'm wrong, because he's 6'7". Caden Luke, I've got at 30 because he's a fullback, and I think he'll be blocking a lot as well. But I love him, and I think hopefully he has a bigger impact. Jason Hall at number 29, is a guy that I really wish maybe, I don't know. I kind of think he should be an edge guy, but they've got him playing linebacker. We'll see if that works out for him. I think he's going to be good either way. And then it starts to get tough, honestly, like at this point, really tough, because there's a bunch of guys that they're all about the same level player. Like, honest to God, I'm not just saying that either, but I'm going to go with, for now, David Afogo, who is a good pass rusher. Like, West Virginia went out and got pretty quality players this time compared to last time where there's a lot more disparity. So I'm going to go with Afogo there. I'm going to go with Jair Rollison next at 27. I've got, let's see, where am I at here? Yeah. Beyond that, I've got Josh Sapp, who I think can be pretty good, but he caught 12 passes last year at Clemson. I mean, you got to show me a little more. Then, I've got to go with, only because I need to see a little more. I've just got to see a little more out of Chams. Gian, however you want to say it. I think he's probably going to end up starting or close, but I don't know how he's going to transfer up yet. And so he's on the, he's a little further down the list for now. You go from there. Probably I'm gonna go with Tyler Stolsky. I know a lot of people might have him a little higher than that, but I like Stolsky a lot. But I think he's limited. He's more inside backer. He doesn't really have the range to run as well as I would like. So that's why I've got him there. Beyond that, I've got Malik Hawkins there. And Malik Hawkins, I think, has a chance to be really good. I just need to see stats. He just hasn't played yet. That's all it is. If you're asking me to project, he would be way higher up the list. This is just a rank based off what you've done so far in your career, and there's just not much there for him. Obviously, he's redshirt freshman. So, that's another one that I just need to see more out of. Jacob Bradford is right there as well, not because I don't think – I've got Jacob Bradford starting, but he hasn't played any yet. You get what I'm saying? Like, you got to have stats on the board somewhere. And I do think Jacob Bradford will be a starter, but he hasn't played yet. So, or he'll be close if he's not. Beyond that, I've got where am I at here? Down to 15 or so, I think. May have skipped one or something. But anyways, now I've got Cam Griffin a little lower than Jackson does because I like some of the other O-linemen a little better. I've got Jair Rollison after that. Then I've got Malachi Hood. Then I've got Isaiah Patterson. Then I've got Andrew Powdrell, who I think is a stud. It's just he's a little undersized. Then it gets interesting because it's really tough to separate guys at that point. Everybody's pretty good at this point. John Nider is here for me. I've got Kamari Wilson, right outside the top 10. I know a lot of people like him. I've studied a lot of his tape. And the thing about Kamari Wilson is he is not necessarily a coverage guy as much as he is the box guy. He's a guy that, in my opinion, that's better at run support. And I really don't want to get him in the coverage. I've seen him get torched a few times at Memphis. So he has a lot of stats, and he's got a lot of accolades, and he started at Florida, and he's got a lot going for him. But in coverage, I'm not necessarily too sure about him right yet. Harper Holloman, obviously, very well, big time. Obviously, I love him. Holloman can really play. Wes King. Where am I at here? I think I'm missing one somewhere. Oh, yeah, there he is. Then I've got Jameer Latimer, who I think is in the top 10. He's at number 10. Toby Hostrip at number 9. Ezekiel Durham Campbell at number 8. A defensive end who is going to be a force for West Virginia. Believe me. Amari Grayson at number 7. DJ Epps at number 6, who has been torching guys in camp so far this year, I've been told. Prince Strawn is obviously, we're hearing a lot of good things about him right now. So keep your eyes on Prince Strawn as a guy that can really, really tear some things up here going forward. And I do really, look, he is the kind of dude that, could end up being all world type player for us. I don't know. I don't want to say I want him to get hurt, but him not getting play at USC last year, probably one of the luckiest things that's happened to us, because we got him cheaper than we probably should have. You go look at his Boise State tape and come back and holler at me. He's the one that has the funny story, Jackson. Prince Strawn, whenever he was here last year on a visit. So this is a true story. There was a Tennessee guy that came in to West Virginia last year, Aiden Bussell, and he told me it was 2:00 in the morning, and all of a sudden Prince Strawn got up and had to leave, and it was an Uber, and he was going to Miami in the middle of the night. He didn't even go on his West Virginia visit because Miami called him in the middle of the night and was like, "We'll fly out." So they Ubered him to the airport, and he flew out to Miami for a visit. Ended up going to USC. West Virginia almost got him last year. And so I always, because I remember that name Prince Strawn, like how many people were named that. And he was, I just couldn't remember. The next day, Bussell was like, "Yeah, man, some dude named Prince Strawn." And it was like a big thing the next day. And everybody was talking about where it happened to Prince Strawn. So, yeah, that was kind of funny. But, I think he's going to be somebody to really watch out for. Or if you want me to go Canadian, he's somebody really to watch out for. So, Devin Voss is my guy. You guys know that. I think Devin Voss is, by the time it's said and done, is going to be one of the starters, one of the 5. And I think he's going to be very good. I watched him whip Utah on tape multiple times now. It's a glorious, glorious thing. 6'6" Kevin Brown, besides 6'6" Devin Voss, besides 6'4" Landon Livingston, besides 6'6" Nick Cray, beside 6'7", or actually you might flip him around, I don't know, but it's probably not going to work out that way, but Carson Cassidy, but 6'4" Malik Agbo anyway. We could have almost 6'5", 6'6" across the board if we started Cassidy at right and Brown at left, but they're not going to be able to do it. So I've got Devin Voss at number 3, Michael Hawkins Jr. at number 2, and Cam Cook at number 1. It's unceremoniously, because it's pretty obvious who your top guys are going to be. I would like to have more time to do that list, because like a guy like Patterson at linebacker is an interesting name. He had 40-something tackles last year as a redshirt freshman. There's a bunch of guys on this list that could come on, but I think they're going to be a little bit later in the year. And so it's going to be, we're talking about early impact players, Jackson. So thanks for coming on, man. And I forgot to let everybody know where they can find you at the Voice of College Football Alabama channel, Voice of College Football SEC Live, and also the Jacksonian, where he does different things all the time there. And then here at Locked On West Virginia, where we do Jackson's World of College Football every single weekend on college football season specifically. And I just appreciate you for coming on and being a good buddy, man.
Thank you for having me on, man. And a thanks to Raven for telling everybody about the magic that I'm doing on Alabama with the Voice of College Football. Thank you very much, Raven. Thank you guys so much. And Paul, thank you again as always, for having me on Locked On West Virginia with you, good buddy.
Absolutely, guys. We got to run. We're pretty far over here tonight. Wanted to jump on and do a video. I'm going to come back and talk about the women's game here in about 20 minutes. So stick around. We'll do another video on the women and their draw as a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. Who are they facing, and are they any good? Can they beat our West Virginia Mountaineers? We'll talk about all that and more in about 20 minutes, maybe with Jackson Johnson if he wants to come on. We'll see you guys then. Q Country Roads.